From the moment we are born, we are taught that our voice is our power. We are told to speak up, make your voice heard, say what's on your mind. Speech is the tool we use to connect, persuade, and defend ourselves. But what if that's only half the story? What if the moments we feel most compelled to speak are precisely the moments we should choose silence? What if, in certain high-stakes situations, opening your mouth is the weakest, most self-sabotaging thing you can do? The Stoics, ancient masters of self-control and true power, understood this paradox perfectly. They knew that while speech can be a tool of a wise person, it is often the weapon of a fool. They trained themselves to recognize the specific situations where speech is weakness and where deliberate strategic silence is the ultimate demonstration of strength. This video will reveal those 6 situations. This isn't a guide to being quiet, it's a guide to being powerful. You will learn to identify the moments where your words are a liability and how to use silence as a shield, a scalpel, and a source of unshakable authority. Before we begin, go to the comments and tell me what drives you to speak when you probably shouldn't. A need to be right or a need to be liked? Let's explore the discipline of the unspoken. Situation number 1, when anger is speaking for you. When speech is weakness, an injustice occurs. You are insulted, betrayed, or treated unfairly. A hot, primal wave of anger surges through you. In this moment, the urge to speak is overwhelming. You want to lash out, to punish, to unleash a torrent of words that will make the other person feel the pain you feel. But the words you speak in this state are not truly yours. They are the words of your inner beast, your hijacked amygdala. Speaking from a place of pure rage is an admission of utter weakness. It is a confession that you are no longer in control, that an external event has successfully conquered your reason and turned you into its puppet. The Stoic strength of silence. The Stoic chooses silence not as an act of submission, but as the first act of rebellion against the tyranny of passion. Silence is the emergency brake. It is the moment you plant your feet and refuse to be dragged into the mud. Seneca called anger a temporary madness, and the first rule when dealing with a madman, even an inner one, is not to engage. Your silence starves the fire. It creates a precious space where your rational mind can catch its breath and reassume command. It communicates to your offender, more powerfully than any shout could, that their provocation has failed to breach your inner citadel. This quiet refusal to be emotionally hijacked is a terrifying display of power to those who rely on provoking others. Situation number 2, when ignorance is your advisor. When speech is weakness. You find yourself in a conversation about a topic you don't fully understand. Your ego, fearing the judgment of others, panics. It whispers, "Say something, anything, don't let them think you're uninformed." And so you speak. You offer a half-formed opinion, repeat a headline you vaguely remember, or nod along with jargon you don't comprehend. Every word you speak from this place of intellectual insecurity is an act of weakness. It's a desperate gamble, a facade that is incredibly fragile. You risk not only looking foolish if challenged, but also sacrificing your own integrity by pretending to be something you are not. The Stoic strength of silence. True wisdom, as Socrates taught and the Stoics embraced, begins with acknowledging what you do not know. Silence in the face of ignorance is not a sign of stupidity, it is the hallmark of intellectual honesty and profound self-confidence. It is the quiet declaration that your self-worth is not tied to being seen as an expert on all subjects. Do this. When you don't know, simply listen, absorb, learn. Ask genuine questions to understand, not to posture. A wise person is not afraid to say, "I don't know enough about that to have an opinion." This doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look wise, secure, and trustworthy. Situation number 3. When your ego is the author. When speech is weakness, you accomplish something. You receive a promotion, win an award, or complete a difficult project. Your ego swells and demands a stage. It wants to recount the story of your victory, to highlight your cleverness, to ensure everyone in the room is aware of your success. Speaking from this place is a profound weakness because it is a confession of neediness. It reveals that your own internal satisfaction is not enough. It screams to the world that your self-worth is so fragile that it requires the external validation of others' applause to feel real. The Stoic strength of silence. The Stoic sage finds their reward in the virtuous action itself, not in the recognition that follows. As Epictetus advised, don't talk about your philosophy, show it in your actions. The same applies to your achievements. Do this. Let your results speak for themselves. When you accomplish something, feel the deep internal satisfaction of a job well done, and let that be enough. Resist the urge to broadcast your victory. This quiet competence is a rare and powerful form of gravity. People are naturally drawn to those who possess a calm confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. It signals that your validation comes from a deep, internal well, a source they cannot see but can definitely feel. Situation number 4. When gossip is the script. When speech is weakness, a conversation turns towards the absent. A colleague's mistake, a neighbor's misfortune, a friend's personal drama. The script of gossip begins, and you are invited to play a part. Participating is easy. It creates a false sense of intimacy and superiority among the speakers. But every word of gossip spoken is an act of profound weakness. It is the weakness of a character that is willing to engage in cowardly attacks. It is the weakness of a mind that finds more entertainment in the failings of others than in constructive ideas. It signals to everyone present that you cannot be trusted. The Stoic strength of silence. Your silence in the face of gossip is a moral boundary. It is an active, albeit quiet, refusal to participate in the vice of injustice. Do this. When the gossip starts, you don't need to preach or moralize. Simply do not engage. Let your silence be a void in the conversation. If prompted, a simple, neutral, "I really can't speak to that," is enough. Your refusal to add fuel to the fire often extinguishes it. It communicates that your character operates on a higher standard. You are not just avoiding being a part of the problem, you are silently demonstrating the solution. Situation number 5. When your mouth is open but your ears are closed. When speech is weakness, someone is trying to explain their point of view, share their feelings, or give you feedback. But you are not truly listening. You are simply waiting for them to finish so you can launch your rebuttal, share your own story, or prove your point. Speaking when you should be listening is a weakness of arrogance. It's the assumption that whatever you have to say is more important than what you have to learn. It closes you off from new information, from deeper connection, and from the opportunity to see the world through another's eyes. The Stoic strength of silence. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, famously stated, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." Deliberate, active listening is a superpower. Do this. When someone is speaking, make it your mission to understand them so well that you could argue their point for them. Silence your own inner monologue. Ask clarifying questions. Nod. Show that you are fully present. This act of giving someone your undivided attention is a profound form of respect that builds immense trust and rapport. Furthermore, it gives you all the information you need to then speak, if necessary, with true wisdom and precision. Situation number 6. When your words outrun your actions. When speech is weakness, you have a grand ambition. You're going to start a business, write a novel, get into the best shape of your life. The impulse is to talk about it, to announce your plans to the world. This speech is a form of weakness because it's a substitute for action. It gives your brain a premature hit of social validation, tricking it into feeling a sense of accomplishment before any real work has been done. This feel-good moment can then sap your motivation to endure the actual difficult process. The Stoic strength of silence. The Stoic understands that a plan is just a theory. The only thing that matters is the work. Do this. Keep your grand plans to yourself. Break them down into the smallest possible daily action, and then execute that action in silence. Let your progress be your announcement. Don't talk about the book you're going to write. Just write 1 page today. Don't talk about the marathon you're going to run. Just go for your run today. Think of a great tree. Its strength is not in the sound of its rustling leaves, but in its silent, deep-growing roots and the fruit it eventually bears. Your words are the leaves. Your daily, disciplined actions are the roots. Focus on the roots, and the fruits of your labor will eventually speak for themselves with a power that no declaration ever could. Entendido? Adicionei mais 2 capítulos ao roteiro When Speech is Weakness, transformando-o em 8 Situations. Os novos capítulos seguem a mesma estrutura e profundidade dos anteriores, focando em quando o discurso é uma fraqueza e o silêncio é a verdadeira força, conforme a sabedoria estoica. Aqui estão as 2 novas situações para serem adicionadas ao final da sessão de desenvolvimento do roteiro anterior. Situation Megla 7. When the urge to give unsolicited advice arises when speech is weakness, someone is sharing a problem with you. They are struggling, confused, or in pain. Immediately, your mind starts racing. You see the solution so clearly. The urge to interrupt, to fix them, to lay out a perfect plan of action becomes almost unbearable. You speak, offering what you believe to be brilliant, helpful advice. But in this moment, your speech is often a profound weakness. It is the weakness of an ego that desires to feel superior, wise, and in control. Unsolicited advice is rarely about helping the other person. It's about validating ourselves. It's a subtle form of arrogance that communicates, "You are failing and I have the answer. Let me, the expert, take over." It robs the other person of their agency and the opportunity to find their own strength. The Stoic strength of silence. The Stoic understands that the ultimate goal is to help others cultivate their own reason, not to make them dependent on ours. Silence, in this context, is an act of profound respect for the other person's journey and their own inner guiding principle. Do this. Instead of offering a solution, offer your silent, focused presence. Listen with the intent to understand, not to reply. If you must speak, ask questions that empower them, such as, "That sounds incredibly difficult. What have you considered doing?" Or, "What do you think is the next right step for you?" Your silence creates a space for them to hear their own inner wisdom, which is a far greater gift than your external advice. It is the strength of a confident teacher who doesn't give the students the answers, but guides them to find the answers themselves. Situation number 8. When you are tempted to complain, when speech is weakness, the traffic is terrible, your workload is heavy, the weather has ruined your plans. The impulse to voice your displeasure, to complain, is a deeply human one. We do it to vent, to seek validation, to bond with others over shared misery. But every word of complaint you speak is an act of surrender. It is a verbal declaration of your own victimhood. Speech, in this moment, is the weakness of a mind that has abdicated its power to external circumstances. Complaining reinforces the neural pathways of helplessness. It trains your brain to scan the world for problems rather than opportunities, and it poisons the social atmosphere for yourself and those around you. The Stoic strength of silence. The Stoic sees every situation not as good or bad, but as raw material for the practice of virtue. The urge to complain is a signal that your judgment has failed. Silence is the first step to correcting that judgment. Do this. When you feel the urge to complain, stop, bite your tongue. In that silence, pivot your mind with a single question. What part of this situation is within my control? You cannot control the traffic, but you can control your response to it. Perhaps by listening to an educational podcast, you cannot control your workload, but you can control how you prioritize the next single task. Silence is the void in which the powerless complaint dies and the powerful constructive action is born. It is the refusal to be a victim and the choice to be an agent, no matter the circumstances. The lesson is not to become a mute, but to become a master of your speech. And true mastery includes knowing with absolute certainty when your most powerful tool is actually a liability. Silence, when chosen with discipline and purpose, is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the presence of your reason, of your control, of your wisdom. In an age of noise, deliberate silence is the new currency of power. It is the sign of a disciplined mind, a confident character, and a wise soul. Don't be afraid of the silence in a conversation. Be afraid of the words you speak that have no substance. Anyone can fill the air with noise. Only the wise can fill the silence with power. Now go back to your comment, right or liked. Reply to it with the word discipline. It is your commitment to begin this essential training. If this guide has shown you a new form of strength, subscribe to the channel.